Hi, my name is Thalia, also known as xothal, and you're watching The Coffee Breakup.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome to The Coffee Breakup.
Another episode. Yes. So we have Thalia.
Hi, everyone.
How are you?
Exciting.
Lovely.
Super excited to have you.
Yeah, we are super excited. Obviously,
too.
you expressed interest to come in, so you were one of our first followers. You know,
Yeah.
it was actually really, really cool. You know, when we saw that. So,
Before we begin,
well, I'm trying to get into that. I'm trying to flow into the.
I thought you were
conversation.
that's how we start off.
No, I'm trying to be smooth with it though.
He's trying to spit some game, I get it.
Nah, relax,
A little bit
No,
the
relax.
other
not like
way.
that.
We're
Get
trying
into
to.
the coffee breakup.
There you go.
Chill,
There you go. There you go. There you go.
No.
Yes. So before we dive in, please like this video, subscribe, comment down below, share with your friends, click the link in bio, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes.
And check out the website, The Coffee Breakup.
Check out the website, The Coffee Breakup. We love y'all. Thank you for the support. Keep
for
supporting
everything.
us. We love it.
Yep.
Now, Miss. Now, can I go back to?
To the fun stuff.
Thank you.
Let's
Thank you
get it.
very
Let's
much.
do it.
Alrighty, senorita. So obviously, we like to get to know our guests a little bit. You know, we talked a little bit, but for those of the people who don't know you, this is your time to introduce yourself.
Okay, so I'm Cuban. I was born and raised there until I was 10. I moved here when I was 10 because my mom won the lottery, actually.
Oh,
Yes,
cool.
it's this lottery that pretty much allows your family and your stepkids to come to the United States for free.
I've heard of something like
Yeah, so my mom was lucky and she won it, and that's how we came here. Ever since, I feel like I had to overcome the language barrier, which makes me even happy to be speaking into a microphone speaking English. Really,
Right.
because Spanish is my first language. So ever since, I feel like I've always been an artist. Since I was little, I've modeled, I've danced, and I feel like now it's really when I'm coming into like my full form.
How old are
I'm
you?
an artist.
Awesome.
I'm 24.
Yeah,
you're a
that's
young
not,
bug.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
not
admire
even.
that.
I feel like that's not even your full form because
No?
24. No, you have so much.
Well, I feel
probably
like-
a lot of potential.
Okay, how do I say it? It's like you're always gonna keep growing.
Sure.
But I feel like it's come together that I've understood my past. So I feel like what I did as a child, what I did in Cuba, modeling, dancing, and just being in front of the camera has helped me now. Like
Right.
now is when I'm seeing my childhood hobbies pay off.
Right. I
Because
feel
now
like,
they're turning into a career.
Yeah.
right. I feel like you seem like you're somebody with a purpose, right?
Mhm,
And so
100%.
at 24 years old, that's not something that's too common,
Not at all.
Agreed.
Man,
Yeah.
at 24, I
you don't
was.
You don't know what you're doing, but it seems
I was
it
going
sounds
crazy.
like but
What
it
were you
sounds-
guys doing at 24?
partying, music festival.
Yeah.
I mean, I do that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Balance, though, no?
but
I was still figuring out what I wanted. Like I was. Where was I? I think I was already in. No, wait. At 24.
weren't you like at
I was already in banking, but man, I would have like benders like on Friday, like go out, and then Saturday I'd show up. My boss would be like, "Are you drunk?" And I'm like, "Maybe."
Yeah.
And I run to the office. I was bad. Now, yeah, right. I need 48 hours to recover. But on the professional side, it took me until last year, 2 years ago, when I reached out to you and I was like, dude, I've helped you with your stuff. Like I want to try to expand. That's when I found my purpose. But I was like 27, 26 and change. So I think the 25 mark for me is when I was like, yo,
after you
You know what you
up.
wanted to do.
Wake up.
yeah.
Yeah.
After I hit 25, it was like okay, like things started falling into place and life events happened, and I really started to dive into who I am and who I want to be. So the fact that you're 24, you're already.
I feel like that's what I'm going
Exactly,
through right now, actually.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Yeah, after I left nightlife, I feel like that's when I started to figure out, like, okay, like, I've been fogged up in this nightlife world
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you go out drinking, you're working late nights, and you're kind of lost, you're kind of just doing the motions, but you're not really there. So I feel like after I left that job is when I really was like, okay, like, what do I want to be? Like, I need to stop going into work for somebody else, and what do I want to make for myself?
Yeah.
I feel like my purpose is really just to be myself authentically all the time.
So you're mentioning nightlife, and obviously we spoke off camera, but just for people who don't know who you are, like what is it you used to be in the nightlife industry?
I used
What
to
were
be
you
a
doing?
bottle girl.
Okay.
I started actually as a server.
Okay.
So I used to do like the whole food and drinks. And then I just went into bottle service once I went into like more of a club scene. And then from the club scene I turned into a bartender. Because bartending was the best one, I think I would say.
Yeah.
Very independent. Like you're not relying on people.
Yeah.
You're behind the bar, which I always recommend this, like as a girl working in the nightlife industry, like
I'm so happy you're getting.
Yeah.
you get guys like, that type of scene. So the bar gave you like that distance of like the client and you.
Yeah.
And that's what made me a little more comfortable like in the last couple months that I worked it.
What was it like when you were, doing bottle service and you were a server? like give us a little bit of stories or things that you've gone through of like maybe guys, probably, I don't know, crossing the line or doing things. Like, is that
It happens all the time. Every night.
I was talking to Wes the other day because he sent me a video and it was about like these, I don't know if they were Asian or they were in Asia, but they were, Asian people. And they had like these guys that they would just approach them and like, they were just like vloggers recording themselves.
Yeah.
And then the guys would like approach them or like be very disrespectful. And like,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, like this is a normal thing. And they're just like nonstop going.
No. Keep
Oh,
going.
you scared me.
Forgive me.
No, yeah. So it was just like I saw it and I'm like, bro, this is so disgusting. So then I think of you actually being directly in the industry. Like these people are just recording themselves in front of like a building. But like, what are some things that you've encountered where it's like,
Okay, that's
yo,
something that I feel like as soon as you take the job, you should know it's gonna happen because it doesn't.
That's so sad.
It happens
Like,
every night. Think about it. People are going to the club to do what? Get fucking. I mean, sorry.
It's okay,
Get
it's
drunk.
okay.
Get drunk.
Right.
You get me? I'm like, they go to get super drunk. So then once you get drunk, you lose control. And then that line of like, okay, I shouldn't touch her or I shouldn't grab her like that. They lose it.
Right.
They can call you names. Like, you got the jealous girlfriends. Those are a big thing too. You have the girl who like, her boyfriend's the one paying for the bottle and then you're just trying to get the payment and she's looking at you like,
What are you doing?
so yeah.
But
I'm just doing my job.
Is there a part where you have to like I don't want to say overdo it, but like kind of give off this 30 vibe or like this super high like hospitality type persona, like
where you
service.
you feel like you're gonna get more in tip, or if you're a little bit more friendly, or
Right.
I think your job is to make the guests feel welcomed.
Sure.
You know?
Okay.
So you have to sell the experience that they're at the club and you're there to give them the experience, to have fun, but you never cross the line of like being too friendly.
So you have a professional approach to
Of course,
this.
always.
Right?
I always did. And I feel like that's what helped me throughout the process too. Because when guys did grab me like my butt, like this and that, but I'll always get them kicked out, be like, no, kick him out, like he crossed lines. Yeah, that's happened to me too.
I feel like, I guess if there's guys who pay that type of money for the service and stuff like that, I feel like it comes with certain expectations. Like, okay, I'm paying X amount of money for this. I can touch her, or I can do this.
Or not only
100%.
that, like you're having a conversation with them, so then they start thinking, oh, she keeps talking to me. Like, we
And
had
it's
a
like,
brief
it's just my
conversation.
job.
Yeah, she's interested in me. And I'm like, no, bro, that's her job.
Right.
Yeah, you've seen that? Like,
Exactly.
And it happens too that you're at the club, so you're really not speaking like this. You're speaking like this.
Yeah,
Right,
super
Because you can't
intimate.
hear into each
Yeah.
other. So it's like, what was the payment? What was this? And then they get confused there sometimes too.
Oh.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So then what about when it comes to like the guys that you meet? Because I could imagine when it comes to like that nightlife and you working there, how would you meet people if so? Are you single or are you seeing somebody?
I'm single right now.
Single right now. Awesome. How long have you been single for?
I've been single for officially single.
Sure.
Okay, you know how relationships can be sometimes on and off.
yeah.
I feel like I've been single for 2 years.
2 years. Okay, but you were in the industry for how long?
3 years.
For 3
Okay.
years.
There was
So you must have dated someone throughout that. So before you get into that person, when it came to dating, how did you like know if a guy was worth it, or how did you meet like the good guys away from like always being in that field?
I mean, I feel like I started dating before I got into the field. So, and the person that I was dating then was in the field as well, just in another profession. So that's when it comes that you guys kind of have the same lifestyle. So you meet halfway, kind of say.
And it was easier to kind of understand
It's
each
easier,
other's
but it's even
lifestyle.
harder sometimes because think about it, it's nightlife. Like you meet people, I meet people. It's like you're at that club, I'm at this club. Like, that things are overcome as well.
I think you gotta really have a deep sense of respect and trust for each other. Like, okay, like that's her job, this is his job, and that's that's all it is. And at the end of the night, we're with each other.
I think it's more about like the person knowing that it's just their job, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's people who are not gonna have like that respect for you as a partner, and they're gonna be like, it's my job, but this comes with the job, and it's like it doesn't.
Yeah, they won't understand that. They won't understand.
Yeah. So you
that
feel like
scenario.
if you're in that industry, you have to date people who are also in that industry. Like
No, I don't think so. You need somebody who accepts the fact that it's just your job.
But don't you think that most of those people are in the industry because they understand it? Because I'm a banker, for example. You're in the nightlife. You and I would be near impossible because there's no. It's hard for me. I mean, I'm very open, but in any other situation, like let's say an office job, someone who works at the office, that will never. It'll be hard because they're gonna be like, oh, why is she out so late? What is she doing? She said she was gonna be home, or that she finished like at 3, but it's 5, and she still hasn't come back.
It's
you
true.
see, like now, no one is gonna understand that unless they're in that industry.
I agree. I can see that.
So the guy you were dating at first, he was already in the
He was already in the industry.
And then have you dated guys after him that were not in the
No,
industry?
that was my last relationship.
And then you, but like usually when have you met guys that
Oh,
are
I've met guys that are outside of it.
Outside
well,
of it.
usually like what you get is like the outfit. You know, like the girls are in little booty shorts, you're in little tights. Like that isn't, it's uncomfortable now that I'm outside of it, even to look back at it. It's not that I judge it. It's just I would understand if I had a partner who was not in the industry and was like, hey, like, I don't want you wearing that. It's understandable. I don't think I would want my girlfriend in little thongs, like walking around selling bottles. It's an uncomfortable situation.
It's
you
not
know?
for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
So right now you're not dating anybody.
No, I'm not.
Would you date now that you're out of the industry? Would you date somebody who is in the industry?
Yes.
You would?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like, how can I look down on it? Like, I was in it. You know, I can understand it even more. As long as the person knows respect and I can trust you and you trust me, like, I don't care that you work at the club.
Yeah, but then what if, like, you know, so like right now you're working for yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So like what hours, I mean, you kind of make your own hours. But when you pick them, do you pick like during the day? Do you pick maybe in the evening, at night?
Usually, since it relies on gigs as well, like modeling gigs, it's really just all over the place. Like I don't have a set schedule. I'll work on a Sunday, I'll work on a Monday, at 3 a.m., at 1 a.m., at 12 p.m. It doesn't really matter for me. But I do think like when it comes to schedule-wise, what I schedule myself is like Monday through Friday, I handle everything that I need to do.
So then what about someone, if you were to date someone in the nightlife, it's going to be a conflicting schedule. When would you see him?
I'll go to the club and see him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I just don't think I would. I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me. Like, if you want to make time for me, we're going to make time.
Exactly.
That's
As long
fair.
as I guess
You want to make it
Fair.
work.
That's fair. That's
Okay.
fair.
The person that works at the bank will stay a little later just to see me.
That's fair.
And
That's
the
fair.
girl who works at the club could wake up a little early too and see her boyfriend. Like, it's all about effort.
like the
You're like,
refreshing.
yeah, man, it's tough. Like you have to
Yeah.
have a really strong connection to, because like everyone's looking for almost like a perfect partner, but you know, it's kind of, it's hard to find that perfect partner. You know,
What about long distance relationships? That's even harder. And people do it.
Have you dabbled with it?
No, I
would you
haven't.
do it?
I think I would.
Yeah.
Okay, look, this is how I think I would, because I see myself as a woman who eventually I'm gonna have to travel for work. And if I have to leave you, and because I have to go to Paris to do something, you shouldn't have a problem with me leaving for 2 weeks because I'm working. I'm doing what I love.
Well, yeah, but that's really not long. I mean, we talk long distance, like 6
Well,
months, a
yeah.
year. If you go on
no,
it,
no,
exactly.
no,
That's
no.
long
That's
distance
too long.
is.
I'm saying like we go apart,
Oh,
like
to,
for
like,
a
be
couple months
traveling
and
or
hear
mean,
stuff. Like then that's okay.
Yeah, I mean that's more understandable. But like long distance, like you've been in a long distance relationship.
Okay, so
Was
tell me
I?
about that.
Well, I'm not in one now, so
Well,
clearly it didn't work.
But how was your
exactly.
experience?
I don't even when.
It was like Tampa, Miami, Tampa.
Oh my God!
I mean,
I don't want to get too into it.
I got it, but
it was
you've
it
dabbled
was-
with it.
I did. It was disastrous.
Oh.
I found out a lot of stuff. It just wasn't. It wasn't ideal.
But do you feel like it was because of the distance or just because of the person?
That's a
Yeah.
very good question. Damn, good. You want to sit on this side?
Yeah, I think
you
it
want to
was-
suit and everything.
I think it was the latter.
Yeah, I think it could have been. It could have been the person. I mean, it was a very delicate, and I don't want to get too into it.
I know.
I've spoken to her. You know, we
Distance is a factor.
Sure.
But I don't think it's the main factor. You know?
no, but I think it could open up influence. You know, it kind of depending on where you are and who's around you.
Mm-hmm.
It also comes down to the person, what they're willing to expect. And this one was a little bit delicate. She had an opportunity to go for a job. Turns out that the guy who offered her the job didn't really care to give her the job, just wanted her.
Happens all the time too in the industry.
Really?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Of course.
Well, I don't know.
And as soon as you get into the job and you say like, hey, I don't want to get with you, it's like now like they bully you in the job.
They try to force you out.
That actually
I'm like,
happened
damn.
to that actually happened to my ex as well, because she was working at a restaurant, and then the boss or manager who hired her was like trying to get fresh, like touch her leg and stuff, and she's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
what's happening here?"
Oh no,
It's real life situations.
Yeah, that happens for sure. Okay, I guess long distance. Maybe
Long
not.
distance,
Yeah,
don't
maybe
do it.
not.
Right,
No.
Don't
It's a
do
no.
it.
It's a
Although-
no it's not for the coffee breakup.
It's a no for me
It's a-
now.
I would be open. No, actually, you know what? I would not be open to it.
I don't think I could do it.
No, because I'm like very physical and I need like attention and.
I'm
if
kinda
you're
like
my
that too,
partner-
though.
Yeah.
Really?
Like if I go too long without seeing you, I'm like, do I even know you? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to do long distance.
No.
Never again. I learned a lesson.
No.
It's one of those things that like they kind of like scar you. You know?
I guess it's okay to
Trauma.
try.
You need to
it.
heal that.
Yeah.
You need to heal that.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm thinking about moving to California. You
Yeah.
go to PTSD.
That's a no.
I felt that.
Okay.
So then right now, so you had said that you were kind of like off and on, you unofficially. So when was the last time that you kind of dabbled with somebody?
I would say that was like around 5 months ago when it was really like off.
Okay.
5 months. And so what kind of industry, I guess, is he in?
He was in the music industry.
Music
Okay.
industry.
Mm-hmm.
So what occurred there? How come it wasn't, why didn't it progress?
it's the person. It's about their morals, you know?
Okay.
Like I told you, like I could be a bottle girl, and at the end of the day, I can go do my job and leave, and I would not get anybody's number. I would not be interested in anybody else because I love you and I'm coming home to you. But I guess for guys it's different, or just for that person it was different. I'm like, I don't know.
What, he wasn't?
It just comes with the lifestyle. Like sometimes girls are gonna be throwing themselves at you, and if you don't have self-control, like that's my main thing. Do you have self-control? Because temptation is always gonna be there. Temptation is gonna be at any job, whether you're at the bank or you're at the club. Temptation is gonna happen. Do you have self-control? Are you sure of who you are that you can be like, no? It comes down to that.
And that's kind of what happened in that situation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is it that you're looking for in a partner? Like, what is it like? Are you open to date, or are you saying?
I'm open to date.
Okay.
I'm always open to date. I feel like life is about experience.
Okay.
I don't always say something like, oh, I'm dating to marry. Sometimes it's just date, and then you do marry. Or sometimes you just date and you learn from the experience.
Right.
You know?
Is marriage something that you're striving to achieve, or you're looking forward to, or you?
Yeah,
kind
I
of
want the
irrelevant?
marriage. I want the kids, the dog, the cat.
the white picket fence and everything.
Mm-hmm. But what I would look for in a partner, I think I want somebody who loves themselves. Because if you don't love yourself, how do I expect you to love me?
Sure.
Like it comes down to that. Like, how if you love me more than you love you, then we can't work out.
That's true.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
So what would be like a non-negotiable? Like now you're dating and you're meeting somebody. What is something that we say like?
I know where you're getting this.
Oh God.
No.
No.
This morning he sent me a picture of like a card, and that was a question on it. So I see why he's trying to
Slide it
in.
Yeah.
Like what is a non-negotiable? Like now, like when you're dating somebody and you see something like, this is a no for me. I'm gonna remove myself from the
Yeah,
situation.
that's a good question.
So what about you? How about you give some examples?
Okay, tell me.
Non-negotiable for me, for example, would be somebody that doesn't share the same like lifestyle, the same dreams, the same ambitions.
That is big for him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, I love traveling. I love doing new experiences and I love like living. You know, I think life is so much more than just working or just doing this and this.
Adventure.
And being adventurous, being creative, being open-minded to new experiences. There's some people who say, listen, I just want to do this and for the rest of my life, which is okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not something that I would align myself with. It's just a different lifestyle. So I think for me, that would be a non-negotiable.
Yeah, for me would be someone who's it's kind of shitty and a little bit selfish, but but
okay,
I think that's
yourself.
important. Yeah. Someone with someone healed. I can't deal with someone who's has too many personal problems because I have enough stress as it is.
Someone who isn't healed, isn't it?
No, someone who is healed, who doesn't have like, baggage or they don't have a lot of like you know how some people they feel like they need, a little bit of support. Not so much come fix them, but they need some sort of support.
Mm-hmm.
I need someone who has their shit together because I don't have my shit together. So it's a little bit selfish on my end. You know what I mean? So, I've dated someone in the past and, they were a great person but they just had so much of their own personal issues that I was just like, I can't deal with this.
Well, I feel like
Good
when you meet
family,
somebody,
good person, good
everybody has
career.
personal issues. That's like inevitable. Like it's gonna happen. But are you dealing with them? But don't put them on me.
Yeah.
I think that's the line of like, you could be stressed out and I'll be there for you. But I can't feel like I'm fixing myself and you at the same time.
That was my problem with that person, where it was just too much for me. I could not deal with it.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it was way too, because it's like, I'm trying to figure myself and I'm trying to grow myself. Like there's too much on my plate to now have to make sure I cater to you. And it's a little shitty because again, if someone's more put together for me, it's easier because we don't have to always talk about bullshit. Because if I'm talking about bullshit, but then I talk about good stuff, and then you're talking about bullshit, it's like we got too much bullshit to deal with both of us.
Yeah, like why not separate, deal with our shit, and then maybe we could work out later.
That's like super big for me.
Because I feel like if you have a lot of personal issues, like while you're in a relationship, you kind of like get yourself together, like focus on you, and then be like, okay, I'm ready to be with somebody else now.
But yeah, I 100% get what you guys
forget.
Yeah.
Go.
I 100% agree with that, but I also feel like it's a beautiful thing when you're meeting somebody and you're dating somebody and you're helping them become better. But at the same time, you want to be able to reciprocate that. You want them to make you feel better as well. So I think it's a special bond that you're creating when you both lift each other up. And I think that's the very foundation of dating and of a relationship.
What you were saying, it's kind of like when you meet each other, right? And like I'm helping you and you're helping me. But there's sometimes that you're trying to help them and they're not trying to help themselves.
That's the problem.
I think that's where I'm coming from.
I get
Because
that.
like, I'll give them, there's two ways to do it. You either give them advice or you just listen, when they need something. And I did both. And even then it was completely broken. Right. And I'm just like, you need to deal with your own shit.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't do it for you. Deal with it and once you're healed, maybe sometime, but I couldn't at that time. I was like, dude, like, it's not working out for me, dog.
I think a no for me, like a breaker no deal, it'll be like if you're not spiritual. I feel
Not
like
spiritual.
I don't care what you believe in, but I need you to believe in something like that's higher than you.
Okay.
That's my no, because I feel like that is my main thing in life. Like I am very spiritual and I pray to God, right? I don't care what God you pray to. I respect everybody's religion, but I need you to have that faith of like, you know, there's something higher out there and you have a purpose in this life. You know, I don't want somebody who's just going through life thinking that their actions doesn't affect the next thing that comes. You know, a lot of people think like, oh no, like what I do now doesn't matter because my life is already like written for me. I'm not really into that. I think you're in control of your life and your actions do have consequences, good ones and bad ones. So I want to share that bond of like, we know why we're here and like, we know there's something higher for us.
I can see how that could be definitely non-negotiable, because if you're not aligned in that aspect, because that's a very fundamental belief that you have, and if you don't have that with somebody, I mean, that kind of fractures the whole situation.
I think so.
What if they have that belief, but it's into themselves? If that's so, now let's think about this.
Okay.
Instead of you thinking of some sort of like, you know, higher supreme being, it's like, well, I need to do what I can for myself to be as great as I can. It's almost like,
but that is what I believe, you know?
Yeah. So it's like back into you.
Yeah. I mean, if you're being honest, I think we're all like gods and goddesses. That's truly what I believe.
Beautiful. That's kind of the direction I was going with.
I strongly believe that, you know, but there's an example and we have it. It's like, there's an almighty and it's like, how could you not aspire to be that great? How do you want to live life just mediocre?
That's
not into that.
Where I was coming from. Have you ever taken shrooms? I've never taken shrooms. Have you ever taken shrooms?
Yeah, I have.
Oh,
that's okay. Is this why you're? Because I haven't. But
it's not why I'm like this.
No.
Like, okay.
No, but but the thing is, those who have are more accepting and understanding of that, because I've never done shrooms. Kind of curious because, dude, it takes you to this level of
awareness.
Awareness of you're like, yo, like this, there is more than just this. So I saw this video of a guy. He goes, oh, one day I woke up, you know, we were camping and I just went on my little kayak to the middle of the lake and I took shrooms. And then when I got there, dude, like I felt like I laid back and then I was God. He goes, I was God. And they're like, you mean you were like God? I'm like, no. I was God.
wow.
So there's these different types of experiences that people have that you see that. So then that's when now with the research that's getting behind that, it's more of, this isn't things that like loopy people take. Like there's some research going into this that's actually being, like they're trying to understand.
Well,
so
I feel like if you overdo it, then you lose. Okay, like you can get high, right?
Yeah.
That's what I said. You get high on the shrooms, but your feet need to stay on the ground because you're still living like a human experience.
Yeah.
You can't start believing that you're really like God and like I say, like you have no effect on what happens.
No, true.
You know,
true.
that happens as well.
Oh, so there's like a little fine line of that.
Well, we're humans, you get me? But we're still have a spiritual side.
Yeah.
So I feel like there
needs
needs to be like a balance.
I think as long as you're like in touch with your spirit or if there's a higher power, or just, you know, be in touch with who you are and kind of realize that there's more out there than just you and what everyday emotions that you're going through.
Exactly.
I think that's also very vital.
I totally forgot what I was gonna say, and I remember when I said I don't want to forget.
Oh, I thought you already said it.
No, not at all. No, I fell into that.
Damn.
Do you believe you are God though? Like you're an extension of God?
I believe we all have the power to create our own destiny. So if we need some sort of, so people, they have their faith, you know, they believe in something and that's what drives them. I have that for myself. So I think that I'm in control of what's around me.
Your outcomes.
If I bring in good energy is going to be emitted
Agreed.
back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the way I see it. Oh, sorry, I don't want to.
No, it's just that. Like I don't chase. Like I don't feel like I need to prove anything to anybody or like chase something to get me there. I feel like that's all in me. If I believe in myself and I push myself,
Agreed.
that's what I need,
Agreed.
and that's what makes me happy. And if no one around me is upset, I told her yesterday that it was, what is it? If nobody wants me there, that's enough for me to not want to be there. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like now I don't want to be there. So it's almost like that. Like I'm in control of my outcomes. I'm in control of my environment. So that's where I put my faith in.
For me, the biggest thing is like I want to make somebody else's life easier and better. So if I can go through life helping other people, for me that's the greatest.
So is that your purpose? You feel like?
I feel, like if whether it's the podcast, my writing, my poetry, my books, if I can help somebody else, even if it's just an insignificant, like it's smallest manner, I mean, it brings me so much happiness.
Me too.
And so you don't know where you go, you don't know who you meet, you don't know who you're crossing when you're crossing the street, smiling at somebody, telling somebody hi or whatever, and you're making their day. And it's like, you know, you are good because you want to help other people, be good for others. And same thing with karma or spirits and putting good out in the world, and it will be reciprocated. I think if everybody was living that way, 7 billion people would live to make other people happy. Man,
It'll be better.
The life would be a better
But
world.
But think about it this, like, you're okay with being vulnerable. You're okay with showing through a mic, through your writing, that you're just like other people.
Sure, of course.
Other people don't want to do that. They don't want to relate to other people. They want to be like, oh, I'm better. And I've never made those mistakes that you've made. But we're okay with being like, I've made the same mistakes. And that's okay too. To make people feel understood.
I 100% get what you're saying. I think we're doing it on a public platform, but there's a lot of people that reach out to Christian, that reach out to me, the coffee break, and they say, listen, I can resonate with what you guys saying. And they might not be as courageous to be vulnerable in public, but they read our stuff, they watch the stuff, they are affected by it. So not everybody has that courage to be vulnerable on a public platform. Exactly. But if they're watching us, if they're listening to us, they're like, man, these people, I can resonate with that. And hopefully that'll inspire them to live a little bit more courageous.
You guys get messages too, like, with people that you inspire. And they're like, oh, you inspired me to do this. I get random strangers. Like, that to me is like life's biggest gift. Like, that person did not have to come and write this paragraph to me saying thank you for something that I didn't even know I did.
Yeah.
I'm posting for fun. I'm posting my life. I'm actually being authentic, just showing you.
Beautiful.
And they're sending you messages like, you've changed my life. Like, you inspired me to open this clothing line. And I'm just like, thank you. Well, thank you for inspiring me, because they don't know that I'm actually thankful for them. You know?
Absolutely.
There's a photographer that you worked with, Balusa?
Justin?
Mm-hmm. I told her, man, he did one, you were like painted in something like gray or something.
Yes.
I think I saw that.
What did I tell you? That was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And I wrote to him and I was like, dude, this is flawless. Like, I don't know what to keep going, because he didn't have a lot of followers. So I'm like, you know what? I appreciate so much when people tell me I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
Because I started it for that reason. Like, I wanted to help people. I did it for him and I thought it was so impactful. I'm like, you know, I want to do a podcast. That's when we were like, oh, dude, let's do it together. Like, I helped you, and like, imagine that we can get together. So then this is why we started doing it. And I remember the times where people would tell me like, man, thank you so much for helping me. I'm like, dude, let me give that back. And I saw that. And I mean, I've seen his other work as well. And that one struck to me because it was so elegant and so graceful.
Me and him worked together. Like, pretty much he was a photographer and I'll be like, they're creative directing, the same thing that I'm doing now, and modeling. So since we were already close friends, it was so easier. It's like, it was easy to just work together. I'll be like, this is the vision that I have. And he'll be like, we could do this, like this, like this. And we'll create magic like instantly.
Do you like being in front of the camera, or do you like directing on the side?
This is the hardest question you're gonna ask me today.
It's hard.
I think, recently I've read a book, right? And I read this book called The Artist's Way. And I'm on chapter, I think, 3. And what it has unlocked for me is that I do enjoy being behind the camera. I love it. I love bringing my vision to life through other people. But I think I want to be the one in front of the camera. Like, I want to be the artist. I want to be the main. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I told you the same thing. Remember man, I had these like ideas of making some videos, and but I wanted to direct them. But then I'm like, I can't see anyone else who would do it unless I'm on in front of them. I feel like I'm the one that's the right person to
That's
do
what
that.
I learned.
I guess it also depends on the project, because like there's certain projects where you feel like, man, I can envision myself doing this, or maybe I could be better at instructing people exactly.
Or maybe you see someone, you're like,
that's the person.
Yeah,
I've done that. I've done both.
Yeah, and then you express your art through this person.
But think about it this way. The reason why I'm answering you that I want to be the person in front of the camera is because I want somebody to be directing me. You get me? Why can't I have somebody have their magic and I bring it alive for them?
I guess
that's a gift as well.
Right, but you have to connect on a deep level with this person so you can understand how they want you to.
Yeah, because what if there's a clash that they see something one way and you think, I think this would be better, but they're directing you. You see what I mean?
I've had that problem too.
That's what I'm thinking. That's why when I thought of doing that, like when I wanted to create whatever, I'll explain to you guys later. But I thought it was, and I told you it was a genius idea. It was nice, right? Anyways, but I'm so excited about it. But I'm like, what if I put someone there and I'm like, oh, it's not right.
That happens to me too.
And then they're like, oh, but I'd rather do it this way. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck.
Well, look, this is the thing. As a director, if I'm hiring you as a model, I'm the director. You're just a model. Which is the part that as a model, it's hard because sometimes you're like a puppet. Like, move you here, move you there, and you're kind of just like being tossed around.
Right.
You know?
I think it's beautiful when you as the model also have some influence in being a director. Especially like you watch some really, really good movies, Hollywood movies. And a lot of the actors say, listen, the director did such an amazing job and we worked together in such a profound level. So the outcome of it is such a great project. So I think when you have a good director and a good model, or an actor, whatever, and they can work together. I think that's really,
synergy, yeah.
I think whether you're in either position, like or model or you're the director, you need to be open to criticism, and you need to be open-minded. You know, because sometimes you think that that's great, but somebody that's on the team might have an even better idea. And you're like, hey, but you need to be open to accept it, because a lot of people are going to listen to the idea and they know it's better, but they're like, I'm the director, I don't care. That's what's wrong. You know, as a director, like if I have the photographer, like when I worked with Justin, he'd be like, I actually think she should wear this. I'm like, you're right, she should. You know, it's a team. It's a team. Like you need to have like that chemistry in the team. Like,
and you got to be humble, like
100%.
to accept that criticism, you know, that it's only gonna help the project and
the model needs to feel comfortable. That's one thing. Like that's like the main thing on set for me. Like I need the model to feel as comfortable, because I need her to execute my idea the best as she can. And if right now, let's say she feels like she's posing and she looks uncomfortable, the image comes out uncomfortable. You see it in the expression. So that's also essential.
Like they have to have fun with it as well. Like they have to, you know, want to be there and enjoy that experience with you. And if you're happy, it's almost like when we have guests on.
Exactly.
When they first sit down, they're like super like blocked off, and I'm like, oh, you know, we got to break that ice. If not, they're gonna continue being uncomfortable. Then once like it flows and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do whatever. You know, talk about whatever.
If we think about our best episodes, the person has always the person on the other side of the camera has always been comfortable and open and vulnerable, and that's kind of where the magic happens. I feel like those have been the best outcomes.
I want to ask you. I want to go a little bit back. It was more towards the dating side. So right now you're, you know, when you do your modeling and when you do that, do you think when you get approached, or I would assume your DMs are flooded?
It's Instagram.
Yeah. How do you determine who's serious, and how do you determine who's actually writing to you interested, apart from, you know, the work and the art that you're posting?
Okay, so you're saying pretty much like the guys that reach out to me,
whether it's DM or that they approach you, because I mean, you have, you know, a pretty good following, but again, you know, a lot of the pictures that you post, you know, it is modeling, some a little bit more, like for the one you did with Justin, it's pretty provocative. But it's, you know, I see it from the art side, but other people will be like, damn, she naked.
Yeah.
Objectify it.
I mean, I get comments under my pictures all the time, like, Jesus is gonna hate you, you're naked. I get those.
Really?
Like, yes, like, oh my God, in the Bible, like, people go off in the comments. Like, you guys have no idea.
Man. Does that ever affect you? Like, you read through it and you
do you care?
It doesn't affect me at all. I go to sleep at night like I don't think social media affects me that way.
Yeah, at the end of the day, man, a comment is just helping the algorithm out. Like it's another.
But I can't distinguish, like, when guys approach me. I'm gonna be honest, 100% always. I told you guys, I don't meet people through social media. Like, there's never been a guy who DM'd me and like I DM'd him back and then we met and something happened. Okay. I'm a meet you in person. Instagram DM, like, for what?
But think about it. I mean, what if they stumbled across your page? I mean, look, we have
tell me.
One is COVID. You know, people were kind of forced to a certain extent. Obviously not in Miami. Miami's a free for all down here, but to, you know, have to meet virtually. So there were these people that they would either meet online and then they would graduate their relationship from texting to phone calls and then FaceTime. It's hard to believe when, you know, you go up to Fort Lauderdale and people are coughing all over each other during like the peak pandemic. But in other places, it's like a serious thing. Like everything was shut down. No one would interact. So, you know, obviously there is that side of online dating that's almost more common and more acceptable. You don't give that an opportunity.
No, I'm an organic person. Like, how can I need to see your face. Like, I need to look at you in the eyes and be like, okay, I like you. I meet you organically, like, even if it's at the damn coffee shop. I'm not gonna meet you online.
So where have you met people, like guys that you've been dating? If you don't, I was
gonna go,
I feel like I've met them out, or like through a friend. Like my friend introduces me and stuff like that. Like my friend's like, oh, I think he's cute. You would like him, and then you introduce me. Okay, I'll deal with that.
Sorry, go ahead.
But I haven't done the whole like. I don't. If I respond to a DM, it's literally being like, oh, thank you.
Have you met a guy that you've been on dates with at work, but back when you were in the industry?
No.
Did it happen?
To be honest, I don't date. Like, I don't go on dates unless I really like you.
How do you know you're gonna really like them?
Yeah, you gotta meet someone.
That's what I'm saying. I meet them first, like, organically as friends. We chill, we hang out in groups, and then I'm like, okay.
So what if someone approaches you and like, hey, you know, I saw you just got a coffee. You know, you were about to leave. I don't know if I'm ever gonna see you again. So I want to say hi and see if I can get.
I don't know. I think I'm a little closed off. Maybe this is coming to me for a reason. I'm a little closed off.
Yeah.
I'm a little like, no, I don't know you.
You see what I mean? That sucks, because then there's people who they want to approach women, and then you, just because you're closed off.
But I'll say nicely. I'll be like, no, thank you. I'm not interested, you know?
But what if they're like super handsome?
I don't know.
What?
Okay. It really is just, maybe it's like how I am. Maybe it's my personality.
Yeah, you seem very like, I mean, maybe you guys would be intimidated when they see you, you know, like out in public, and then they're gonna go later on, like, hey, message
Look, barely guys nowadays come up to you like, let me take you out on a date. Most guys come up to you like, what's your Instagram, dude? What's your number? And I'm like, what makes you think I'm gonna give it to you? Like, that's so weird.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, that is the thing is like, obviously with the adaptation of social media, that's almost like, hey, what's your snap? You know, like that's
Yeah.
like new asking for the number, you know?
terrible.
So it's a little frustrating.
I'll give them my Instagram just to get more followers.
you're gonna follow them back.
I'm like,
fair.
no. They're like, they always say this. You better follow me back. I'm like, yeah.
Psych.
Sorry if you're watching this. I'm sorry.
Everybody
guy's
goes
like,
That happened to me too. Have you ever kind of messed around with dating apps, or is that something that you've tried?
Okay,
you
so
try it?
one time, what's the one that everybody gets? Tinder?
Tinder is
Yeah.
a
It was so weird.
why?
How did it go?
I never went on it. Like I went on it and I will go and I'll be like, this is so weird, and I'll take it out.
Yeah.
Oh, you never give it a shot. That sucks
Well,
though.
I feel like people are only there to have sex, no? That's what everybody says. So I'm like, I'm like, let me get out of here.
Yeah, it's
that
a
is the stereotype, I'd say.
hookup.
The hookup app.
Yeah, it's usually what people.
You guys have been on it?
I've tried
Years
it
ago.
yeah.
Years ago.
It's been a minute.
How was that experience for you guys as men?
You know, to be honest, I've used it when I was traveling because I traveled by myself a lot.
Nice.
I'm gonna be honest. I'll be honest.
Ripping dip, baby.
It's like different locations.
No, I've met some genuine people, really cool people when I've traveled, and it's a good way to meet people, especially when you're like in a different city in a different country.
That's true.
That is true.
I'm gonna be like 100% honest with you. Like
You travel alone?
most of the time I do.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, most of the time I do. And then guess what? How are you gonna meet people a lot of times? Yes, you could, walk up to some chick at a restaurant.
Yeah,
or a
but then
bar.
she's gonna tell you to fuck off.
Yeah, she'd be like, "Fuck you." I give you my Instagram.
Yeah.
So I've used
I'm like, oops.
I've used Tinder in the past, and it worked out.
No, not for
That's
me.
cool.
I didn't
Not for
have
me
any.
either.
I didn't have any luck.
Yeah,
I
but
think
you don't really need it.
Shut the fuck up. Hey.
Yeah,
B, no, but it was years ago when I did, and I would play around with it, and I thought of it more as a game. Like, if I swipe right to you, would she swipe right back?
And I've been
to me?
offended sometimes.
It was like the
damn,
fun
you're-
part.
I
I've
would.
been offended.
And
like-
then it's funny because like, what about like when you meet somebody? No, when you know somebody and you're like, oh shit,
Oh,
I found
shit.
this person. You're like, man, if I swipe left and they find out I swipe left, that's kind of fucked up. So I swipe right. But then I find out they swipe left to me because we don't match. I'm like, hey, bitch, I did you a favor because I knew you.
if I would see somebody that I would know, I'd be like, nah, get the fuck out.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh no, I was like,
yeah,
oh,
I don't want to
swipe
see you.
right.
I'll be like, no.
Hope you didn't see me.
I just feel bad because it's like, oh, if I swipe left and they swipe right and we don't match, they're like, man, this motherfucker swipe left.
Well, when I had it, I will get guys that like I will swipe left. Left is no, right?
left is no.
Okay, I will swipe left, but they'll DM me through Instagram and they'll be like, "Oh, I saw you on Tinder," and I'm like, "Dude, the whole point is that if we don't match on there, you don't reach out to me."
Yeah, get the fuck out.
You're cutting the boundaries here. Like, why are you all up on my DMs?
It doesn't work this way.
that
Not
is
supposed to
yeah,
work
so
this way.
they be doing that too.
Awesome.
Do you think that with the style of the things that you put out there, when it comes to art, your photography and your modeling and stuff, do you think that most guys would come at you with the wrong intention? That they'll think that maybe it's more physical rather than you have something deeper on an emotional level?
I think in the past, yes. I think now, since I have started little by little rebranding, when I started my poetry page and when I started to speak more publicly, I started to just share under my pictures like what was on my head. Like I was like, okay, like I want people to follow me on Instagram because yes, I post pretty pictures, I can be attractive, but I want people to follow me to know what's going on in my head.
Right.
So I feel like now I actually get messages from guys that are like, oh my God, like you're so different, you're not on Instagram posting your butt and this and that, like you actually have depth to you, like that's so attractive. So I feel like now my audience has changed itself,
But
but it's some game as well.
thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
like. That's it.
Okay.
Not the double tap. I'm
That,
like-
that was ruthless.
No, but regardless, okay, that's cool.
So I feel like as I've rebranded, so has my audience as well. A lot of the guys that would just DM me for like, oh, you're hot, they don't really do anymore. They're kind of like,
I saw a little bit of your writing and I was very impressed. I mean,
yeah.
not
Thank you.
for anything, but like it is good. It is
deep.
good.
Thank you, thank you.
It's beautiful.
Congratulations. It's awesome. Love it.
I want to see some of your writing.
Yeah, I'll
Oh,
send
he's
some
got
stuff.
like what, 3 books?
3 books.
You open up another
That's
page
crazy.
now.
Yeah, I love writing, and again, I really didn't know my purpose until life happened and a couple of years ago.
Have you
and-
always been writing like since you were young? Or?
No, but when I trace back like my past writing, like I was always very good at it. Like I came here when I was 16, and I didn't really know English, and even back then I had to take these xothal classes, which is
Me
like
too.
for non-speak.
Wait. English is your second language or something?
English is my
Yeah.
second language.
It's German.
I was
Say
born
something
in
in
Germany. Ich
Say-
liebe dich.
What is that?
I love you.
Oh, cool. What is it?
Ich liebe dich.
Ich liebe dich.
Ich liebe
I'm not even gonna try it.
dich.
Dich.
Yeah.
Ich liebe dich.
So yeah, like when I was writing English, like paragraphs and stuff like that, people, my English teacher and all this stuff was like, this is really good. And so now in hindsight, I look back and I'm like, man, I was very good at writing, even when I was young, even when I barely knew the language. And obviously, as I write more and you become more comfortable with who you are and just your skill, I'm sure you can relate. Your skill set just becomes better as you write and write and write. So
Agreed.
I mean, when I was younger, I didn't know never thought I was good at anything, yet alone something as profound as writing. So now that I kind of find out who I am and I become comfortable with being vulnerable, that's kind of really when I'm opening up myself to all the
because
talent
it's pretty
that I
much
have.
like therapy. Like I feel like writing is my therapy. Like if I feel good, bad, anything, I'm just like, I'm just gonna write it.
Yeah. And
it's really like just between you and the paper. So I feel like that's what the intimacy that you have with writing. There's nobody there listening to you. You're not talking to a friend. You're just there between you and the paper.
Exactly.
And then when you share it, people are like, oh my God, that's how I feel when I'm alone too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much words can move you. And like.
Okay, I have a question for you guys.
Okay. Oh damn. Okay.
When it comes to writing, and you have a partner, how do you feel about sharing your experience about that partner, like openly? How do you think they feel?
What do you?
For example, like you write poetry.
Yeah.
I write poetry. It's been about my past partners, my past experiences.
Yeah.
Do you think that you're overstepping, like sharing?
With
yes, like you know what I mean.
With the same partner that you wrote about?
No.
Yeah, no, like
different partners.
Different partners, like or experiences.
Good question. I consider myself an artist, and so if I'm moved by a certain thing, or if I hear a song and it takes me back to a certain experience, it's never to disrespect my current partner. I'm dating somebody, but if I write something or if I post something that happened to me years ago, it's not to diminish my relationship with my current partner. It's just it's a way for me to express myself. Same way artists and musicians, they post stuff like breakup songs and they're like in happy relationships. And yeah, they may have been experiencing some stuff in the past, but it doesn't directly affect who they're dating right now. So with me personally, yeah, I post stuff and break up and sad stuff that happened to me years ago, but that's just the way how I express myself. And I never want to take anything away from my current experience, and it's not a disrespect. It's just that's how I express myself. That's just who I am. But they met me that way, like when they met me, I was writing, so it's not something new to them. So if they were to say, "Hey, why are you writing this?" Well, I'm a writer. That's how I express my emotions.
I feel you on that.
And it may have happened years ago, and it may not affect me, but right now
it's still part of you.
Exactly, it's who I am, and it made me who I am.
I agree. I think that we are who we are today because of our experiences, and we need to love that about ourselves. So people will talk about having a bad ex, and they're like, "Oh my God, I wish I never dated them. Like they were a piece of shit." But it's like, what did you learn? Like, who are you today because of that? So I think that's the beauty of having those experiences. But
I
think it could be I think it could be very delicate, because what if what you're writing is exposing something about a previous partner that there's still something deeper there, and you're with your current partner? Like, what if like you write and like there's some sort of like writing of I still miss my partner, or like what we could have been.
No,
like,
you better not say you miss anybody.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because you're an artist. You want to dig deep. You listen to a song that takes you back to a moment. Maybe in that moment where you're writing, you think of all these songs like these that artists they make of reliving a moment that was precious at the time. What if it was with another partner? Would you share that with your current partner? See, that's where it's delicate.
Tricky.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think everybody, it's not necessarily like I miss this partner. Perhaps I wouldn't want to go back to it, but the experience doesn't mean I would, like that moment, I wish I could relive, but it doesn't mean I want to go back and be with this person again. And I think at the end of the day, we all have these moments where it's like, man, I missed this experience. Just what difference is with we have as artists, we put this on paper or we digitalize it.
We're just expressing it.
Exactly, but it doesn't mean that they don't think about certain memories that take. I'm sure there's times with that in the past relationships where they were like, I was genuinely happy, and that doesn't mean that it takes away from my current relationship or that I would go back with that person. It just means at that particular moment I was happy, exactly, and I enjoyed that moment. But I get where you're coming from, where it could be a delicate situation. Me personally, my past relationship was very, very intense and traumatic, but also it was also very good. Would I ever go back to it? No, of course not. But exactly. But are there moments that I've enjoyed tremendously and shaped me who I am? Yeah, I'm grateful. But so when I write, I'm not like, I don't wish I would go back. and I don't miss this person, sure, I miss the memories and I miss the things that we've created, but
it goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning. I can understand you because I'm a writer.
right.
What is somebody who's not a writer? And it's the same thing about lifestyle.
That is true.
What if somebody that doesn't understand anything of writing and it's like, oh, you're writing about your ex-girlfriend? Like, what, you're not over her? Da-da-da-da. They won't understand what you're saying. I understand you, but they won't.
I think even if they, I'm sorry, I think even if they don't understand, it's a level of maturity and security that one has to have with themselves to say, oh, well, I'm comfortable so much in myself that I trust you enough to know that this was a past experience. Because if you're showing me that you love me, you're showing me that this is what we have, and this is what's our focus is on. All of that other stuff, knowing that you're an artist, I can, even though I may not directly understand it, I have to be mature enough and respect it because I know that you provide me with the security and I'm secure within myself that you're, doing stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a beautiful answer.
Yeah.
That's great.
There's a very famous couple, poetry, Samantha King and R.H. Sin.
Oh,
they're married. But they constantly write about heartbreak and divorce and loss and stuff like that. Are those experiences from their past? Probably. But are they happy together? I mean, I would imagine that's what they express themselves. But they know that this is their art and this is how they express themselves. They have that level of trust and respect where they can be vulnerable to the world and not chip away from who they are and the relationship that they have. So yeah, 100%. You have to understand your partner. You have to. Does it work because they're both artists? Sure, I'm sure. I mean, if you're dating somebody who isn't an artist, maybe that's a discussion.
You better love my art.
Yeah,
he should love it.
Yeah, you better.
He should actually be my biggest fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's something you have to. Yeah, but you have to be understanding if you're on the other side of that spectrum and you're not. Maybe you can't relate to expressing your feelings like that.
So yesterday I put on my story, right, to ask for relationship advice for us.
Okay,
cool.
So do you guys want to hear some questions?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, before we get into that, because I have like 2 more questions.
Okay.
Tell me.
Okay, we'll circle back with that.
What are your long-term goals for yourself? And then I'm going to tie this into something, but start with that.
My long-term goals, I would say, is to be a mom. That's like my purpose.
I'm so happy you answered that because that's the direction I wanted to go into.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That is my purpose in life. I think everything that I'm doing now is just shaping me to be a mom and to be an example of a good woman for my kids. And a good wife as well. I agree with that. But I feel like that is my purpose in life.
Okay.
Like that's all I'm doing. That's my end goal right there.
So that's your end goal. Mm-hmm. But like, okay, you're gonna be a mom, but is that really all you want to be? Because you're gonna be a mom, and then 18 years, and then you're a mother. You'll always be a mother, but they grow old. They're gonna raise their own family. What are you gonna do when they're out of the nest? And
well, that's what I mean.
That's your goal. That's your end goal to be a mom.
Okay.
But there's a gap after they leave.
No, there's no gap. You're a mom to the death.
Right, I understand that. No, I 100%. But like, they start their own family, and
right.
And
but then
like that. Like, what's your goal after that?
I feel like you remain a mom though. Like even if they go away anywhere, like you're still gonna be a mom.
I
understand
that.
You mean like when they already get older and like, what do I do for myself?
Yeah, exactly. Like what? Like if you're saying your purpose in life is to be a mom, what? But like there has to be something else because like you're
example,
shaping another human being.
I'm big on this. I tell my mom all the time, like, yeah, you're my mom, but put yourself first too. Because it's not that I'm gonna put my kids in front of everything and I'm just gonna forget about myself. My kids are gonna be the main thing for me, but I'm still gonna be loving myself and doing things for myself. I'm not gonna get lost in motherhood where I forget that I was Thalia before I was a mother.
Does that make sense? That's the direction I want to go.
Yeah, which is why everything that I'm doing now is just preparing me to be a mom. Right. I'm still gonna do all these things that I'm doing, but my end goal, like that is what I want out of life, just to be a mom and to put into this world something that came from me.
Of course.
That's what I would say.
Do you have to add to that?
No, I mean that's the thing because a lot of people they become mothers or parents and then they forget their identity kind of ties into that, and then the kids, and that's great and it's awesome that obviously you're raising another human being and that's awesome. But once they leave, and then all of a sudden sometimes parents kind of lose their sense of purpose, right? So like, even for like my mom had 8 kids and we all over 18 now, they're all leaving, and so she's kind of going through the stage.
Like she's like it's inevitable. Like that's gonna happen,
Which is my question.
What I have learned is that me as my mom's daughter, I teach her things too. Right. Like she's my mom, right? And she's teaching me. She pretty much raised me. But there's been situations where I'm actually teaching my mom things. I'm teaching her, hey, love yourself. Like, no, don't come and do this for me. Like, go and do that. Handle yourself. I'll handle my own things. And that's when like being a mom, you also become like you're learning as well from your like offspring.
Right.
I think this is very cultural. because I'm Hispanic. So when you answered that, I'm like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got it. Like because that's a typical, I don't want to say Hispanic answer, but
No, but I get it.
yeah, I
Cultural
think
answer.
I think we understand that a little bit because you I was looking over her and I'm like, damn, I was getting a little frustrated because you were very challenging because for a mother, like that's everything for them. You know, like that's their goal. Like they're so happy being a mother sometimes where they don't need anything.
They don't need anything else.
You know,
I understand.
but you kept challenging that, and it's
Of course,
but being a mom is never like, oh, they left, I'm not a mom anymore. Like you still have that call, that meeting, that joining. Hey, I'll visit.
It
like,
never stops.
I understand, but no. The reason I was challenging is because you gotta have something for yourself.
Right, but she
that-
is though.
that's
It's not
why-
like
but-
she's not doing anything now, and I need to be a mom, so let me find someone to put a baby in me. It's
Exactly.
she's creating something for herself, establishing herself. Like she said, she wants to be a role model for her kids of what she's doing to be that woman figure, not just a mother, a woman figure. To have their children look up to her. So obviously she's establishing herself. But when she said it, like I want to be a mom, like that's a big deal, especially when like in the Hispanic community, like that's like
Well, essentially, it's also, sorry to cut you off, it's also the most important job in the world, raising another human being and putting them out into the world and teaching them everything.
Great.
It's
Yeah,
it's a beautiful
exactly.
experience.
And I do feel like, okay, in the Hispanic community, right, it's very cultural. They want you to be a mom right away. Like our parents had us when we were 15, 16. It's been pressure. Like I'm 24 and my parents have looked at me before like, so when are you gonna have kids? I'm here like, dude, I barely have a job.
yeah.
What do
Oh my
you mean
God.
I'm gonna have kids? So I think like the shift also like in generations like happens, which is by 24, my mom already had a kid. I haven't. I don't think I'm ready for one, but I feel like I'm preparing myself to be one, to like be a mom. You get me?
So what about when it comes to we've had this conversation before, when it comes to roles in our relationship. Do you think that there are gender roles or should it be more progressive where it should be balanced? Because you're saying that you want
I'm
to
like, oops.
you want to be a mother, right?
Yeah.
And some may argue so I think this is a perfect example. He goes, "Oh, but what more do you want?" You see?
Okay.
In other relationships, a man would say, "Be the mom, be the wife. I got the bread, you make sure the crib is good." You know? Where do you find that? Do you think that both of you should be making your bread? Or do you think if the man says, hey, I just want you to make sure the kids are good. If that's what you want to be a mom, you want to take care of them. You want to do your thing on the side by all means, but don't worry about it because I got us.
I think
So
I'm
where
always
do you
gonna do
find
my thing. You know, I'm always gonna have my own money. If my man wants to just take care of me and I use my own money for me and my kids, then I'm okay with that too. You know, like if you're telling me I'll handle everything, just do your own thing and take care of the kids, and that's fine. I think when it comes to gender roles, okay, again, I'm like Hispanic, so usually like man is a provider, the woman is a caretaker. That's I don't think I have a problem stepping out of the caretaker to be the provider though, and I don't think he should have a problem either stepping into the caretaker even if he's the provider, because there's gonna be days where let's say I have to go to work and you're gonna have to take care of the kids. You need to know everything about the kids the same way that I do.
Of course. I
You know? And sometimes it's like, oh, he goes to work and like he has to take care of them and he has no idea what to do. Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, you need to know what I'm doing. I need to know what you're doing
it
so
should be a
that
balance.
it should be a balance.
Should be a balance.
I mean, I 100% follow into that because at the end of the day, like, I don't want to have my wife just raise the kids. Like, I want to be in the picture
Exactly.
just as much as she is. Like, I mean, it's like a Hispanic thing or it's across cultures where guys are bringing in the money and he's like, oh, I don't know what's going on with the kids. Like, the mom's handling the kids.
That's not how I was raised. Like, my dad and my mom have always been like a team.
Yeah.
So that's the example that I guess I'm following as well. Like, if let's say, for example, like my mom is working today. If my dad's home, like he'll cook. There's nothing wrong with cooking. Like, he's a man, yeah, he's cooking.
I love it.
And as if the other way around, my mom is cooking and my dad's working. Like, there's no really like, oh no, that's what your mom does. That doesn't exist in my house.
I love that.
Okay.
100%.
So it's balance. So you want to ask it who pays the bill on the first date then?
No. It's a
That's a question
universal
you like ask.
established.
Wait.
No, we've asked this a bunch of times. So
It's the
Yeah,
guy,
but
though.
we got to get it. There you go. So it's the guy.
If it's
though.
for me, it's the guy.
huh?
It's the guy. I think a man should feel like a man providing. Does that make sense? Just like
Okay.
a woman feels like a woman taking care of him.
I love that answer actually.
You feel me?
You
No.
don't
I
like that answer.
No, what do you mean? No,
You're
no,
just
no.
like
He's like, damn it.
yeah.
No. I'm just
Like, does it make you? I feel like as a man, for example, I'm putting myself out of my shoes.
I can see that.
If I was a man, it's not that like you're expecting me to do it. It's that I want to do it. I want to pay the bill on the first day because I'm the man, you know? And I want to
Like,
feel like
I
I'm providing
can.
for you.
And most of the time, the guy initiates. Like, if I ask, like, on a first date, have you ever asked a guy out on a first date?
No.
Probably not. Exactly. So if they ask you out on a date, of course, I mean, they should pay.
Yeah.
Right. If I had to ask you, hey, let's go to have dinner at this really nice spot. I am asking you out. Of course, I'm going to pay, and I feel like that should be understood. It should be. I think it's also normalized that the guy pays, mainly because the guy asked for the date.
But what if it's an agreement? Like, hey, you know,
would you want to go out? I don't know. It's like one person always asks first.
Right.
That
Have you
is
ever been in a
true.
position where you've asked?
Maybe not ask directly, but maybe like, hey, you know, let's
Initiated a date?
Yeah, let's go. Like, let's say you work with someone, or I don't know. You're like, oh, let's go.
I feel like, okay, what I've my experience, the guy's always been like
happy
dude,
hour.
I'm going to pay. You get what I mean? Like, that's just, it's
So
been my experience.
in your dating experience, like even if you dated for months and stuff like that.
Oh, no. There's times that, like, if you're my boyfriend, like, I'll pay. You get me?
Okay.
What are you thinking?
No, that's good. I think we can shift into your questions because I
Yeah.
have a direct question, but go into that.
Why you don't want to ask it?
What is it?
Yeah, but I think when we ask the questions,
Oh,
we'll get there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Love it.
Okay, let's see. Let's see some questions.
All right.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
It says, what is the best and biggest lesson a relationship has taught you?
Actually, I have something similar like that written down.
Um,
Oh, you want to go first?
two things.
Okay, I guess not. You go first.
I say it all the time, but you actually put you posted it yesterday on the Marvin Wrights, but I say it all the time.
You do say it all the
It's
time.
good. I'm glad you.
I should have given you a tag.
I want a little like tiny little.
The
It's
credit?
the problem is not you versus your partner. It's you and your partner versus the problem. Number one.
Okay.
Number two is if you can't take care of you, how can you expect someone else to take care of you? And how can you expect yourself to take care of someone else? It ties into what we said earlier. You have to make sure that you're secure. You have to make sure that you're put together, that you're able to be by yourself and not rely on someone else to make you. Because when they're gone,
What's left?
Who are you? You know what I mean? That's where you have to have that. So those are my two.
I love
Biggest
that.
lessons.
My biggest lesson: have a purpose. Know who you are. Know what you want out of life. I'm not saying have it all figured out, but don't be lost. Like that was my biggest thing. I didn't know what I wanted, who I was, who I wanted to be, what I wanted to do out of life. Now that I have that kind of sense, it comes with a sense of security. Like I know my worth. I know my sense of self-worth. I know what I can bring to the table. I'm not scared to eat alone. I'm not scared to be alone. Being able to be alone is the biggest asset you can have. Once you have that security, you're not gonna be discouraged. But if you meet somebody and they're independent and they have their own time and if you have that security, if they leave, well, you still have
You're
yourself.
just good.
You're good. You do not lose yourself in that person. And I think that's the biggest challenge that you have when you date somebody, especially after a while. And it's normal. Your wants wants become your wants, and their needs become your needs. In a way, it's gonna happen. But don't lose who you are. Have your own things. Have your own group of friends. Have your own purpose. Have
Agreed.
your own routines, whether it is yoga, the gym, whatever it is.
Don't stop being you just because
Don't
you're in a
stop being
relationship.
you just because you're dating another person. And that is my biggest lesson.
Yeah, in relationships, you kind of build an identity around the relationship.
Exactly.
And then when the relationship's no longer there,
You don't even know who you are.
Exactly.
yeah, you lose
Like,
your,
what do I do now?
You lose your identity. So that's why it's important.
And that's why breakups are so difficult. And it's like you literally have to relearn everything. So for me, the biggest advice, if people are listening or whatever, to answer your question is, no, be you, be your own person.
focus on you.
Focus on yourself.
I think
and
my
everything
biggest
else will
lesson
follow.
has been that you're not in control. You're not in control of the other person. Like, you're not. Like, you stop trying to be. Like,
Right.
that's my biggest, and I'm saying because I've been control of myself. Like, this is coming from, like, my own experience. I've always tried to control, you know, like, in the sense that, like, I don't want you to do this, or I don't want you to do that, or, like, pretty much I don't want you to, like, mess up. And it's like, that person's gonna mess up if they want to. And if they don't want to, then they won't. You're not in control of their actions. You're only in control of yourself. So worry about your side of, put your 100%. If the other person's not putting theirs, you can't force them. You can't control that, you know? Like, and I feel like in a relationship, it happens both ways. Like, sometimes you're like, you need to do this, and you start, like, asking for things. Like, you shouldn't ask for anything, you know? Like, the other person, you should be like, hey, look, I wouldn't want you to do this. This is how I feel about it, and it comes to respect and agreement.
Right.
Now, when I try to control you and tell you, like, you better not do that, that's where you're gonna, like, mess up.
Chris would always tell me, it's like, you know, like you can't, like people would be so, whether that's jealous or insecure, and it's like if they're gonna do something, they're gonna do it.
They're gonna do it.
But the key here is if you're doing everything you can to make this person happy, make this relationship last. That's all you
Then
can
you
do.
should-
And if they
exactly.
mess up, that's on them.
Yeah, I had to learn that the hard way.
That was something that Chris would kind of like planted the seed.
Yeah, you can't control their actions, but you can control
Exactly.
your reaction. You can control your
100%.
reaction.
And if they mess up, or if they would, that's on them. You gave it your all. There's nothing that you should be ashamed or be guilty. Or you feel like you're not enough. Never. So
that was my
it's
biggest lesson for
important.
me.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. We're back.
What else you got?
Okay, so this is somebody who's sharing their experience and they're asking for our advice. It says, my man is going through depression and acts distant. Should I let it go or work through it?
He's going through depression.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest
Ask it one more time.
Okay. This is what she's asking. Ready? It says, my man is going through depression and is acting distant. Should I let it go or go through it?
Well, this is my take on it. And you can offer somebody help, and you can give all the advice and all the tools, but if they're not willing to take that help, take that advice, there's nothing you can do. And you don't want to break yourself and kill yourself because somebody else
and
can.
blame yourself.
And blame yourself. So, as a good partner, you give the support, whether it's finding therapy or somebody to talk to or being vulnerable or having that conversation. What do you need from me? I'll do whatever it takes. But at the end of the day, if they don't want to hear that, there's nothing you can do. You can't force them. So with the fear of saying, well, stick by their side no matter what, and then you're going to end up getting burned. Be careful. But at the same time, as a partner, you want to be open, you want to help, but don't let your sense of self-worth be the expense. Don't kill yourself over somebody else's. That's their mental health, and it's an important aspect of who they are. But their mental health has to come first, and they might have to tackle it by themselves.
I concur. Yes. Ultimately, it goes into what we said. Like, we can't control their actions. However they handle pressure and depression, stress, whatever. You can only be there as an extension to support. But at the end of the day, if they need to do it by themselves, or they just don't want you around, and it may not be personal.
Yeah, because the person he's acting distant. So meaning like he's like pushing her away.
Right. And then that's where because here's the thing, we will never understand what somebody else is going through.
Mm-hmm.
We all have different experiences. So then that's where we kind of have to be mature and very understanding of not understanding, and being able to be like selfless and say, well, I cope, I cope with things a certain way, and this is how I do it. He probably just needs space. So I need to be that partner and say, okay, I'm here when you need me. Whatever you need, let me know. Now, if it becomes a pattern, or maybe he gets out of that depression, that's when you discuss, hey, how can we do this together? How can we avoid this? Mm-hmm. So we had an obstacle. We found a resolution. Now, how do we fight it if it were to happen again? Then you build a plan on how to kind of tackle these obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
The only
a relationship is work. People don't understand that.
Experience is your best teacher. The only way you learn something is by doing it. When a kid touches a hot pan and you tell him, don't touch it, it's hot. What is he going to do? He's going to touch it. God, it's hot.
He won't touch it again.
Won't touch it ever again, because now you know. It's the same thing in a relationship, but with anything. Something happens, fuck, now I know not to do it. When he was telling me about his relationship issue with your ex, he would, there's things that he wants to do. And I'm like, don't do it. But
and then we do them.
I'm like, do this, because if you don't do it, this is gonna happen. And he goes, oh, but Chris is too hard. So then sometimes he wouldn't listen to me, he'd do something else, and what I said would happen.
And then he would come back and be like, damn, that me and my girls have that conversation all the time. Like, especially I have younger friends too sometimes, or just I've had experiences that they haven't. And it's like, I'm watching you go through them, and I'm looking at you and I'm looking in the mirror. I'm looking at my younger self, and I'm looking at you like, this is what's gonna happen. She's like, you think so? But I'm like, just let it be. I'm like, I always let my friends, this is something that I think is the topic that should be talked about. Like, I'm a friend to you. You do whatever you want with your life. My job is to be your friend. If you want to get back with him, even though he's cheated you 100 times, I can only be there for you the 101st time and you want to cry again. I'm your friend. Like, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm here to support you and to guide you through the right direction.
But do you feel like if they keep coming back to you and asking you for advice, and they keep doing what you tell them not to do, at some point aren't you gonna be like, yo, I already told you what you should be doing, fuck off, if you don't listen to me?
Okay, I wouldn't say the fuck off. Okay, like
I'm not saying
I've had that experience. I've had that experience, like I've had the friend, but I've also been the friend that gets back with the person all the time. And I keep coming back from my friends for advice. So I've been the person asking for advice and still getting back with the person. And I've also been the friend. So I feel like that's what makes me be more understanding of my friend coming to me like the 100 times.
Who are you to say don't, if you do it?
Exactly. No, it's that it will happen to you. Then you'll be on the other side. And then you're like, damn, I wish my friend was there for me. Right. I'm just there for you as a friend. You want to come cry? You can come cry. You want to come and go out and forget about him? We could do that too. I'm just there to be your friend. You would tell me to fuck off?
I would tell you to fuck off.
He has.
I have.
Literally.
But then, because you want to know what? this is gonna sound really bad, and I think it's a little extreme, but we're running a little bit out of time, so I kind of want to. I consider that a bad friend, indirectly.
Okay.
Because, okay, good. You get me. Because the right thing to do is to pretty much tell them you're a fucking idiot. Don't fucking talk to me. Because then they're gonna be like, but now what do I do? It's like, bitch, you keep putting yourself in these positions. You asked me for help. I'm giving you help. If you don't want advice, you just want to vent, fine, tell me that.
Then I guess that too. Help and vent is different.
But if you're coming for advice and I'm giving you advice and you don't want to listen to it, you're wasting my time because now I'm investing like I care about you. And you're choosing to hurt yourself over
choosing yourself.
Instead of choosing yourself. When I'm here choosing you before anybody else. I'm choosing you before me right now. But you can't see that? Well,
I think I've built boundaries in my friendships where that doesn't happen to me. Like, you can come to me 100 times. Your relationship is not affecting my life, though. You get me? You can vent to me. You can say, like, my life is falling apart, and I'll listen to you. But that emotional baggage is yours to carry. Yeah. I'm not going to absorb it. And I think that's when it comes to, like, even energetic boundaries. Like, I can be next to you, and you can be depressed. Doesn't mean that I'm going to go home and be depressed, though.
Right.
You get me?
No, I get it. I'm just more of the,
tough love.
Tough love. Sometimes you got to be the bad friend in order to be the good friend.
Because I care. Because I care. And I care more about you than you yourself if you're allowing yourself to put yourself through that.
Well, I always say the truth, but it's maybe your delivery is different from mine. I don't think I'm the tough love. I think I'm the straight up. Like, I'll tell you straight up, but if at the end of the day you want to get back, I'm like, well, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm still your friend, though. I'm not going to tell you, like, yo, you're pissing me the fuck off.
I'll still be the friend, but I'm just more of like, okay, you're being hurt, so I would rather hurt you and make you feel like a fucking idiot. Because then when you do get hurt, you're going to be like, Chris was right. I'm a fucking idiot. I should have never gone back to this person. I should have never allowed this to happen. Mm-hmm. So he's here telling me what I'm going to ultimately feel like. So then there's this realization of, damn, Chris, you were right. Like, now I woke up. Now I see what you meant.
You know what it is? Like, in your friend group, you have that friend and you have this friend. You have the friend that you go to when you want that type of answer. And there's a friend that you go to when you want this type of answer.
Yeah.
You had gone to Larry and with me when you were going through.
Yeah. Sometimes you need different advice.
Different advice from different friends. You have the friend that's going to be like, you're fucking retarded. Right. But the friend that's going to be like, you're retarded, but I love you.
No, but you get me? I sometimes can find myself being in the middle. Like, because I've had people reach out to me and I'm like, I can be compassionate, and I think that's important, and understand where they're coming from and be gentle. And then there's other times where they do it again or they do something else, and it's like, okay, now I'm gonna be the asshole to tell you how it is. So sometimes you gotta know how to shift gears, because and Chris has been like that sometimes, where he's like, okay, you can be a little gentle, a little subtle, and then he's like switches around when you do it again. Because he's been like that with me as well. There's been times where you've been a little bit more gentle, and then you've been like, yo, fuck this guy. He keeps doing it. Now I'm gonna fucking lay the hammer. But because at the end of the day, it's all love.
You're still being a good friend, though.
Right. Yeah.
Your intention is a good intention.
Yeah. Right. Sometimes almost like being a parent. Like sometimes you got to be the bad parent in order to be the good parent.
It's true.
You know?
I agree.
I told you it's almost like participation trophies, almost like where you kind of like you don't want to say you're doing good, like don't worry about it. Like no, sometimes you have to wake them up and say
you fucked up.
Yeah, you lost. All right.
Yeah.
Fuck this little ribbon you have. Fuck that. You lost. All right. Do better next time. Literally. So that's how I am when it comes to certain things. I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna baby you through it. Like you're an adult. Wake up. This is real life, okay? I'm unbiased. I'm not emotionally attached. You are. So you're being blinded by your decisions.
I do that.
I'm not. So this is what someone who's logical would do in this situation, because this is what's in front of you that you're not seeing because you're choosing your heart over your brain,
like the
logic,
reality.
You know? So that's where I remove all of emotion whenever I talk to people.
Here's the cold truth. And I like when people tell me the cold truth. I actually keep friends around that tell me how it is. Please,
we gotta be boys then.
But we need to be. But that's what you have friends for. Like I check you, you check me. That's what you guys do to each other.
And that's what good friendship is based off of. Like not like yes, but like no.
But I will still let you do it. Like I'll tell you the cold truth, and I'll be like, you want to still do the wrong thing? Go.
Well, sometimes the best teacher is the lesson itself.
Yeah,
it's the experience.
They're gonna listen to you, but they're gonna do whatever they want. They have to. Whether there's a wall, I'll run into it. I tell you, you're gonna run into that wall. They have to run into it themselves.
But then they're going to think back, man, Thalia told me I'm going to run into the wall.
Exactly.
Now,
but I let you run into it.
Okay.
That's when you kind of build that rapport and that you strengthen that bond with that person, because it's like, man, like they were looking out for me.
Yeah, I agree.
They weren't just being assholes to be an asshole. They were being an asshole because trying to avoid for me looking like an asshole.
True.
All right. I think you had one
We're
more
almost
thing.
done.
Yeah.
I mean, man, it's not going to flow.
I know.
I feel like it's important
it.
because look, I don't want to call you an influencer. I hate that word. I think you're more than that. But you are, I would say, pretty well connected with, we'll call them other artists. The point is, a lot. So now it's almost easy within this world of making money, because if you do have a large following, you can promote whatever you want, you get some money out of it. But there's also the shift of.
I don't want to say it. You say it.
You say it.
You say it.
In OnlyFans.
Okay.
So we had an episode over a year ago, maybe, and it was would you date someone with an OnlyFans? Which that's not the question I'm going to drill you in, but you know, you're a very beautiful girl, and I'm sure you know people who have OnlyFans. Do you think that you'll ever step into that side? Because now it's more accepted.
I love that you asked me this question.
It's more accepted now than ever, because there's people who are literally quitting their jobs to do that and are now financially free because of it.
Here, rude awakening. I had an OnlyFans.
Okay.
For a month. I would say last year. Yeah, 2019. 2019 summer. So the same time I was working at Central.
Okay.
And I had it for a month because I rode the wave. I'm like, you know, everybody's doing it. Like, you get influenced. You're like, everybody's doing it. What's going to be the big deal? Like, and then you lose, like, sense, right? That's what I would say. Because you're like, it's just your butt, right? And then it's like, this is how it was my experience. I went into it, right? I started just posting lingerie pictures. Okay. And then what people don't realize is that you're being programmed in that app because they're asking you for more. Constantly, there's a pressure coming from your audience, like, just lingerie? No, take your top off. No nipple. Are you serious?
It's gross.
No, and then
creepy.
And then you have the reviews outside of the OnlyFans, like, don't buy her OnlyFans, like, she's scamming. There's nothing nude.
Oh, it's like a thing, right?
I was
like
the worst on Reddit. They hate me on Reddit.
Yeah.
They're like, she's a scammer. There's no nudes on it. Yes. So then you have the pressure coming from all sides of like, you should be showing more. And then you have the DMs because what people don't notice that what these girls are saying that they're not making out of subscriptions. They're selling private videos through DM.
Through the subscription.
Exactly.
Wait, through the DM. On OnlyFans?
On OnlyFans. Yeah, on OnlyFans. Okay.
Much.
Pretty much how it works is that there's a subscription, right? And people DM you, and through DM, you can say, like, I'll send you this video if you pay $200. So you pay $200, I send you the private video. Yeah. So that's how really, like, the money is being
generated.
So to subscribe is just to kind of be, like, in your community almost.
Right.
You will see my post, what I post publicly.
Publicly, and I can talk to you. But I can't DM you if I'm not subscribed?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So, in my experience, I don't talk down on it. I think these girls are making bank. Like, girl, you're getting money, do your thing. If it doesn't bother you, if it doesn't change who you are, then that's okay. To me, it was changing who I was. It was changing how I was viewing myself because, yeah, I get it. Like, I am attractive in this, but I don't think I'm a sex symbol. Like, I don't think the only thing I have to offer is sex.
You're
you know?
more than that.
Right.
Exactly. So throughout the 1 month that I did it, I just didn't like it. Like, I just started getting guys like, hey, if you sell me a private picture, I'll sell you $3,000. I'm like, $3,000. Maybe I won't do it the first time, right? I won't do it the first time. But let's say a year from now, I get asked this question how many times. I'm already programmed into being like
think of how many thousands
I would have made. So then you lose that, like, clarity of like what you would and wouldn't do.
It's that integrity.
You also become like, desensitized because
that's the word that I was looking for.
You're not doing it for yourself anymore. You're doing it for
the money.
Yeah.
And people, money is a big blind.
And where's the line? First it's nude, then it's where else would you go with this? No, I paid $10,000 to meet up.
That is what I'm telling you.
To go on a date, whatever.
That is what I'm telling you. From my experience, that's the experience I had. Like, I wouldn't do it again.
Just in a month, you got that?
In a month, how much I made?
Yeah, no. Like, in a month, like that's what all this like you were being exposed to within that month.
Because I was being shaken in my bones. Do you get me? Like, it was an experience where, like, maybe to somebody else to have it, to show themselves like that, it didn't bother them. I can post a naked picture on Instagram. Yeah, but that's artistic. I'm showing you my body in an artistic way. I'm not in a thong, bend over, hey, here I am. Does that make sense? There's difference. And there's also an audience. Like, I'm on Instagram and selling it as art. I'm on OnlyFans selling it to creepy guys saying like, hey, I want to have sex with you.
True.
And they pay so they feel like entitled to see weird. More, right?
To me, I just...
It's not for you.
It's not. It wasn't for me.
You know what I like doing in my free time? Do you know Angie Verona?
Yeah, I do.
You cool?
I love her. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's one of my homegirls too. You know Angie. And it's creepy, but it's also super funny. Whenever I'm bored, I go through her comments on some of her pictures.
I've seen some of her stuff.
Dude, I think I've said,
what are the comments?
It is the most gross thing. Like, you'll find people that'll be like, oh my God, honey, I wish I can like lick this off of you. And I click on it. It's like an old guy, like with a family. Yeah,
but you feel like we're normalizing this kind of behavior towards, like
upcoming.
Yeah.
Of course. I think of my kids. We were talking about being a mom. And how can I be a hypocrite? Like, if my daughter looks at me and she's like, I want to make one, I'm going to look at her like, I don't think you should. You want to go and do it and you want to learn on your own. That's what I'm telling you. I'm like, I wouldn't allow it, but I don't have control over what she does. You get me? My mom didn't like it. Right. I'm very close with my parents. Like, I'm very open. So I had talked to my mom about it. She was not supporting it. Is she going to tell me like, I won't talk to you if you do it. No, she let me do it. I learned on my own. I lasted a month. I was there like, get me out of here, mom. And then I was able to tell her like, look, I did it. I didn't like it. You were right.
It wasn't for me.
It wasn't for me.
She'd be like, oh, I told you so.
Exactly.
Man.
And you deal with that. I told you so.
The way I see it now, I'm much more open-minded to like that because it's like a wave that was being ridden. It was like, dude, it's just so smart. Like, I don't want to say scamming, but like, dude, hustle, man. Like, if it's for you, if it's easy and you don't care, obviously you were more. You don't want people. You don't want to be visualized like that. But
it wasn't about people though. It's not about being how they view me. It's how I started viewing me. Like, I started looking at myself in the mirror. Like, is this really all I got? Like, I'm not saying not to go on OnlyFans. There's people that have OnlyFans and sell other things on OnlyFans. Their talent on OnlyFans.
True.
You know. So it's like you choose what you want to sell.
That's fair. But regardless, if you want to sell ass, you want to sell tits or just lingerie, whatever the fuck it is that you do, you're gonna be making bread off that, girl.
Do it. No,
go for it, man.
Look, I have so many influencer friends that do it, and I'm looking at them like, girl, you do it. I'll take your picture. I'm like, come on, do this. You know. But that's it. Like, I respect it, just like you should respect my decision of like it wasn't for me.
True. Yeah. And I think that's where we need to be mature about it.
I didn't think these girls should care. That's why I told you.
I don't think they do.
They don't, and they shouldn't. That's what I was telling you. That's how people view you. It's about if your character can handle it or not. My character, I couldn't handle it. I was like, this pressure coming from men, creepy men, it's stirring my soul in the wrong way. You know what I think it is? The lesson that people need to learn when it comes to this. Not just because it's money doesn't mean that it's your money. Does that make sense? Like, I knew I could go on OnlyFans right now and make hella bread. But I don't think that's the wealth that I'm supposed to touch. I think my wealth is going to come through other outlets that are me.
Right.
Yeah.
I think my art is going to come and repay me even more money than OnlyFans.
Yeah, because the way that I see that for OnlyFans, if you know it's there, bro, and you're just like, man, I can just post a couple of pictures and, I still got my own stuff. Maybe I got my own business. I'm doing my own thing.
Sure. It's like
but if I post a fucking extra picture of me like in a bikini or in a lingerie and I'm getting paid bank for it, hey, I'll post my own shit on that if I was getting paid for that.
So would you date a girl with OnlyFans? That's the question.
I wouldn't.
Because I know he wouldn't.
I wouldn't. It's not for me.
I wouldn't care. Care.
We've talked about it like a year ago, and it's just not my cup of tea.
But then now we got to talk about gender roles, because then if you're gonna be making bank off that OnlyFans, you better be treating me with some fucking Ferragamo.
He's just thinking
fine dining, baby.
You're trying to be a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah. Hey, I'll raise the kids. I'll wear my fucking apron with nothing else on. Yeah. Waiting for you with
that's
food,
hilarious.
dinner cooked.
Yeah,
everything
ready. Yeah, but Chris, you're a lot more open about that.
Yeah, because I think nothing to say bad, but I'm very secure within myself. Where if I'm in a relationship with someone and they choose to take that in that direction, bro, yeah, I'm comfortable enough with myself and with our relationship that I trust you enough. Like, bro, make that money, honey. I don't give a fuck.
I get it.
Nice.
I think as a girl though, I've had an experience with a guy that didn't care. Right? He's like, oh, I don't care, but then I'm kind of like, why don't you care? You know?
It goes both ways.
Yeah.
It goes both ways.
I'm triggering you right now just to make you like realize you might tell me you don't care, but eventually I'm like, you don't care?
But that's I'm
half naked.
But don't you think that's kind of toxic though? That's some toxic
behavior.
Damn,
cut the camera.
yeah, cut this out. But there's also some people like, oh, like I don't want jealous guys. But then there are guys that are not jealous at all, and then it goes like, man, why is he
I don't
not
want
jealous?
a jealous guy. Okay, I don't want you to be jealous, but I want you to be like, you want me, like to protect me. Like that's what it is. I think you not wanting it is you protecting that person from like really the audience that I'm telling you you're engaging with,
maybe. Right.
Or you get lost in it. Like you might start, like I said, you start by just setting the picture, and then you end up $10,000 for meeting up, and then $20,000 to have sex, and it's like now you're
fly you out,
and now you're a prostitute, and you didn't even notice how you ended up there. That happens too.
That is true.
That happens.
I was watching an interview with A$AP Rocky. He was on some radio show, I forgot what it was, man. And he was saying how he's like, oh, I've never flown a chick out. I've never paid that. Bro, I love that video. And then the girl asked him like, oh, but you know, some of your boys have done it. And he's like, yeah. Because like some women are literally willing to be like, oh shit, A$AP Rocky.
Yeah,
they're gonna fly me out for this much money and give me a fucking 10 bands, and then I can fly back out. You probably know something like that. I don't know. You laughing like you're like.
It happens.
I'm laughing because I'm in the lifestyle, so I hear it. I'm like, of course, it's normal.
Exactly. So
yeah.
Oh, whatever, man. Hey, if that's what
do you, man? Whatever makes you happy.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, yeah. Who gives a fuck? Like if
you're my friend and you have an OnlyFans, I'll be the first one to promote you. I'm gonna retweet you. I'm gonna post you on my story. Like, subscribe to her thing because that's just who I am. Like, my life doesn't have to be yours. Like, you do whatever you want.
Man, it's so weird.
Take a look at your story.
I'm
your feed.
I gotta say, like, man, sometimes like I'll be like, man, I'd love to support some chick, but it's like, can you imagine like someone going through your bank statements and they're like OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Does it show up as OnlyFans? Or
Dude, I had a customer. I work at a bank. I had a customer call in and he goes, "Man, my card's blocked. I don't know why. There's some transaction." I'm like, "All right, let me check it out." And he goes, "Bro, the guy fraud." Check it out. I'm like, "Boy, I just see a lot of OnlyFans things. Man, you probably do have fraud." He goes, "Nah, those are
those are legit.
Those are legit."
I was like, what are the numbers?
Right, come on, boy. And I
That's
was like,
hilarious. Good
Well,
for those girls.
Thalia, it was an honest pleasure to have you. I think it's been great.
Likewise.
Unfortunately, all good things come to an end.
Not all good things.
Well, this good thing is coming to an end.
All right. But, you know, before we close off, we always like to have the guests. You can either say it to us or directly to the camera, but it's pretty much like a final thoughts moment. So something that you either want to, you know, share with an audience, maybe something you'd want to tell your younger self. Any advice, like one deep piece of advice you'd want to give someone.
Call it.
Okay.
It's time to break up.
I would say that if you're looking for love, look within, because that's where it is. That is my final statement.
I like that.
Simple,
Damn,
smooth, and straight up.
Well, it's time to break up. Sorry,
break up.
Thalia.
It's okay. We're over, guys. Just make sure to say that I broke up with you guys first.
I don't know about all that. It's not you, it's me. All right, so yeah, thank you so much. It was really an honor, and thank you, for supporting us from day one. You followed us, and you showed interest, and of course, here we are.
We did it.
A year later.
Finally made it. But yeah, so for those of you watching, thank you very much for
For the support,
in.
for tuning in, for sharing, for just sticking by our sides since the day one. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, if you made it this far, please like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff, because YouTube, Instagram, and all them other social media outlets, that's what they read. We kind of need that. So
We need
please
that support.
Please support. Anything else?
No, I
I think that's it.
wrapped it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
tuning in, guys.
We out.
Appreciate it.